Hey Universal fans and Halloween Horror Nights fans alike, my name is the Crazy Englishman and welcome to a brand new episode of Halloween Horror World. Today is another speculation video and this one is going to be encompassing both Hollywood and Orlando because new theories have popped up, possible IPs that I'd love to discuss with you guys, and some interesting tweets from both John Murdy and Mike Aiello. So let's dive right into it. So first off, in March 3rd, John Murdy has stated HHN fans will geek/freak out on this IP that they've got. So that's one. And then Aiello posted March 14th. This is one of those dream properties. He's also gone on to say it's one of those things that's like, I wish we could do this. Wait, what? We got it? That was one of his tweets. So what could this possibly mean? Now, my brain has been racking on what these could be in connection to the maze Malcolm. We know at this point that both Hollywood and Orlando will be sharing two of the mazes this year. Now, both of these properties, both creative directors are excited about. So, I've been thinking about this, and I was watching Horror Night Updaters on their podcast, and they brought up some interesting IP ideas. One of which is an IP I've always wanted. It's been a dream IP of mine for ever since I started going to Horror Nights. It's a big franchise love for me. It's Alien. Alien has been one of those IPs that have been heavily requested. It's up there with Exorcist with the amount of requests for it. And I think for the longest time, both parks probably couldn't have done it. For one thing, you've got an intricate creature design to bring into a scare, kind of a scare environment, and it's a little hard to replicate the intricacies of the xenomorph outfit. However, I was looking at a documentary from Aliens, which is the second film, and the way they did the suits in that one is they actually kind of trimmed down the complexities of the xenomorph suit. What they did was they basically created a black leotard, like a dancer's leotard, and they added the bits and pieces onto it, such as the rib cage and the tubing and the tail, all that good stuff, so the actors could actually move and create these ethereal kind of poses. And thinking about that, I think they could possibly do it. Heck, I mean, I actually made a very cheap looking xenomorph outfit a few Halloweens ago out of just black shirt and rubber tubing, and that. It's not too hard because you're disguising a lot of your creatures in the dark, especially with Alien. It's a very dark IP. The alien blends in with its environments, and I think that's where the true scare factor will come if this becomes a maze. One of the other reasons why it could possibly be coming to either Orlando or Hollywood or both is the fact that this year is the 35th anniversary of Alien. That's right, it's the anniversary of the first film, and 20th Century Fox has said that they have a lot of big plans for the celebration this year. Whether they partnered up with Universal to bring it to Horror Nights to celebrate the anniversary, that would be a possibility. I could see that happening. It's a big film in the Fox library of films, and I feel that you could get a lot of advertising for any merchandise or anything like that, bringing it to a live event. Now, as I said before, for the longest time I never thought this could be possible. However, looking back, I checked out a couple of videos from Knott's Berry Farm years back, and they did a maze called, I believe it called the Horrorwood Hotel, where each room had a scene from different movies like Night of the Living Dead, Hellraiser, and they even had an alien room. They had a full-size animatronic alien, as well as I believe it was one or two guys in an actual alien suit, very cheaply made, but it was an alien suit. Going further back from there, we have in England, it's gone now unfortunately, but it was called Alien War, and it was a maze, a year-round maze, where you got escorted around in a Weyland-Yutani laboratory by colonial marines, and you would be attacked by guys in really intricate suits for alien and in xenomorph suits, and you had animatronic facehuggers that would come out. I believe they had a queen at the end, so it's not out of the frame of possibility. But this is a big IP that would get a lot of people excited for. I would be really excited about it if they did it. I'd be super jealous because, as I said before, I'm unfortunately not able to do it this year since I'll be in England, but it would be something that would be exciting to long-term Halloween Horror Nights fans and even casual goers. In fact, I think it would bring in more crowds, especially the alien fans that aren't sure about Horror Nights or have never been. This would definitely be an attraction. If I wasn't, if I never loved Horror Nights and I was an Alien fan, I would even pay to go experience this. So, I believe Alien could be a high possibility. With the, yeah, so both Murdy and Aiello have said fans are going to flip, and they've got the dream IP, so it could possibly be this. However, again, speculation, but evidence is there to say that it's not out of the realm of possibility. The other IP that was brought up, well, it's a very broad IP, is Stephen King. Location was something that Murdy has tweeted, and a lot of people have been saying, well, it could be an It maze or The Shining. I don't think it would be The Shining. Looking at the film, there's not too much apart from Jack, the twin sisters, as Horror Nights updates have said in their podcast. There's a few ghosts, but nothing out to make a range of characters. They said that they've got a pretty epic cast of characters. Now, I've been thinking, if this is within the realm of the Stephen King IP, one of the few books that I think could work as a maze is Salem's Lot. A lot of people have been saying It, which is a possibility. It has the kids grown up are a very variety of characteristics, a whole cast of characters in that movie, and you've got obviously the clown himself. But with Salem's Lot, you have a location. Salem's Lot is the town, and you've got the Marston house, which sits upon the hilltop looking down at Salem's Lot. It's an old dilapidated house where the head vampire gets moved into as he stalks and spreads his curse amongst the townspeople, creating a whole town of vampires. This is a great place to set up as a facade. You could start in the Marston house, then move into the streets of the city, go into the houses, and it would set up some great scares. Now, think of the Marston house. For those who don't know, think of the Bates house looking above the Bates Motel. It's kind of that situation. In the book and in the TV shows, both of them, it's stated the Marston house always looks down at the town like a beacon of evil. It draws in evil men. And you have Barlow, who is this ancient vampire. Now, there's different variations of Barlow. In the newest television show, he's just a regular-looking man. That's how he's able to infiltrate. However, in the original one, which, by the way, here's a key, is directed by Tobe Hooper. And for those who don't know, Tobe Hooper was the one that is the director of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was at Halloween Horror Nights a few years back, 2012, sorry. 2012, they had Tobe Hooper's original masterpiece come to Halloween Horror Nights. connections, maybe? Quite possibly. I know John Murdy has always wanted to work with Tobe Hooper. This would bring in a brilliant and scary premise, because Barlow in this version looks like Nosferatu, a lot taller. His skin is blue. He can't talk because the teeth are kind of like Nosferatu's, where they're extruding out of the mouth, and he growls and snarls, and he's got long, slender fingernails. It would work so well, and even as a kid, this film scared me. This is the original Salem's Lot TV miniseries with David Soul, and I believe this could work as a maze environment. It's got a great facade and great startup. You could, like I said, you could start in the Marston house, then move down into the town of Salem's Lot. In fact, actually, you could start from the Marston house, go into the woods where the two boys that get attacked by Barlow and his henchman. He has a human handler. You could go through the woods where they get kidnapped to be fed to Barlow. Then you could move into the town, and then you could start to see the town kind of get dilapidated, and you could go into houses, and they could be hiding in closets and that, because during the day the vampires use everyday kind of environments to hide from the sun, and this could work really well. They could be hiding in closets and that, so it sets up for some great scares. So those are just my thoughts on this year. The first speculation, as we're starting to move later down the line into the year, we're starting to see more clues, maybe tidbits, and I believe those are my two biggest competitor IPs for this year. I would love to see Alien be done. Salem's Lot would be fantastic if it's based on the original Tobe Hooper. Again, Tobe Hooper has worked for Horror Nights to help John Murdy bring his original masterpiece, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as a maze. And yeah, I think those two have a good running for this year. So what do you guys think? I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you agree? Do you think those two IPs could come to Horror Nights? What IP would you love to see that's been on your biggest wish list? Let me know. Comment below, and I will see you guys in the next video. This is the Crazy Englishman, signing off.